Hello everyone, my name is Abdi and this is my custom dungeon crawl. I named it Realm of the Elves. This is the map I created. We got a big scary fire drake um, down there. Alfheim is where the character Ohrenhauser, the main character Ohrenhauser, was born, and he leaves Alfheim to head to the land of Grabisco to find a hidden treasure. And he faces a few tests early on. And yeah, these are the descriptions of the areas I created. Um, Orrin Hauser was adopted by a half-elf couple and raised in Alfheim. He grew up in a musical family and enjoyed using the flute and hand drum. He's very friendly and is great at winning people over with like charm and persuasion. He enjoys going to the library and is intelligent. He has a penchant for trouble, and he enjoys speaking with other people, creatures, and is fluent in 5 languages. Um, he's actually a very good fighter and strong despite his appearance as a slender bard. After leaving the village of his birth, Orin is determined to see the world. He's hoping to travel the lands of Grabisco, meet new people, and gain new knowledge. So this was the hero's journey I created. It starts off in Alfheim, which is a lovely town with music in the air and great weather. A loud and annoying dwarf approaches the group with a paper that resembles a treasure map. The group gets interested and starts speaking about what they should do, and they choose to refuse the call because of all the stories of disasters and things that have happened to other adventurers, and decide to stay in Alfheim. Um, an elf named Troyer walks up to the group now and offers to be their guide and just asks for a small portion of the treasure as his fee. He reminds them of their previous successes in quests and convinces them that they will reach the treasure in Grabisco. The group look at each other and, they come to an agreement with the grins on their faces. So next, the group gather everything they need and they board a ship headed to the land of Grabisco. Um, the group and the guide Troyer are the allies in this adventure. Their first test is in the Bay of Thieves, and they faced resistance from pirates, and somehow through teamwork, they fight back and make their way to landfall in Grabisco. Their next test is to defeat the monster Narkfist, protecting the treasure. So the team makes their way through Grabisco, and following the guide and help from locals, they find their way to the cave, which begins the custom dungeon crawl. So I chose to actually draw the cave instead of doing it online. So in room number one, this is the entrance right here. In room number one, there are 2 barrels in this room. In one, there is wine, and another is a powerful staff of healing. So a character who succeeds on a DC 15 wisdom check perception will find the barrel with the staff of healing. The monster Narkfist may be willing to give up the treasure later on in exchange for the staff. Moving on to room number 2, there's not that many useful items in this room. And then room number 3, there is full of food and water, so the players can choose to rest or continue to the next room. Alright, so in room number 4, this room contains an old and unstable floorboard. It's a trap. Players must make a DC 10 dexterity saving throw to avoid falling onto the spikes planted underneath the floorboard. On a failed save, the player lands on 4 1d6 wooden spikes, each one dealing 1d6 piercing damage. So I made this trap room to provide like a challenge early on that the players aren't expecting, and maybe the players make it through without getting injured, but some of them, could end up being dealt a good amount of damage before they go into the next room, which would be the ordeal with the monster. So, room number 5 has a medium-sized Fey elf who is already tense. He feels as though the players have no right coming into his cave and will fight if he has to. The players can offer the Staff of Healing if they got that earlier in room number 1, in exchange for the treasure in the next room, or they can fight the elf. He doesn't seem to be persuaded by anything else, so there's only these two choices. Either they have the Staff of Healing or they're going to have to fight the elf straight up. After a long fight, because the monster I created has a good amount of HP, so it's going to be a long fight. After a long fight, the players successfully defeat Narcfist and move on to the next room. Room number 6 contains an ancient elven treasure that will bring glory to anybody who obtains it. And then they head towards the exit. Alright, so this was all the descriptions for the rooms. This is the monster Narcfist. He's a medium Fey, chaotic neutral. He has 127 hit points, a speed of 15 feet. These are his stats. So his strength is not that high, but his intelligence, wisdom, and charisma is pretty high. Skills, athletics, intimidation, resistance is cold, immunities charmed. Languages, common, elvish, elvish common. And the challenge level would be 7. So his abilities were the face step. Fate can teleport up to 30 feet to any space that it can see, and this would be like kind of like challenging for the players because we didn't really like face any monsters that could teleport or had magic resistance in class yet. The actions are he has a longbow and a short sword, and the reactions he can parry. So the rewards: he's in the sword. After a long hard fight, the players defeat Narcfist and head to the next room to obtain their treasure. Alright, so on the road back, the players head back to their boat and meet up with Troyer and either offer him the Staff of Healing or allow him to head back with them to town so they can learn more about the ancient treasure and give him his portion. There is no resurrection in this quest since the main enemy has been defeated already. And then the return with the elixir. The group returns to Alfheim with the ancient treasure and are welcomed by a great party. Everybody's in rejoice are very hopeful for the good promise and glory the treasure brings to their town. Alright, so all in all, I enjoyed making this dungeon crawl. I didn't get to do it with my team because we were kind of busy. I mean, there was miscommunication. But I would say this was a very fun experience, and I learned a lot from it. All right, thank you guys for listening to my presentation.